Right, a very good morning to you, and welcome to this morning's assembly. It's on Thursday of the first week back in school, but obviously you're still at home. We're missing you all. I hope you're enjoying getting on with the work that your teachers are sending to you. And as I say, the teachers are missing you a lot. But this morning we've got a story, excellent story for you, and it's the sequel, the follow-on to The Hare and the Tortoise, and it's a fable. And I want you to think what a fable is. Some of you might know what a fable might be, but it's a story with a moral or a lesson to be learned from it. And this morning's assembly really has got an important message, and I hope as you're listening, perhaps try and think about what the message might be. Now, you may see today I've taken my assembly on tour. I'm in a different class. I wonder if you can guess from behind me which class or classroom I am in. Well, I bet some of you have guessed. I'm actually in year 2 this morning, and a little bit of a story, probably a little bit linked to The Hare and the Tortoise. I rushed to get into work this morning. I thought I must get in early and record my assembly and get it up for all the children. And by the time I got to work, all the way from my house, I realised I'd left my bag in the house. So I had to go all the way home, back up to my house, get my bag. So it was about a 20-25 minute drive back to the house, then another 20-25 minutes back to get here this morning. So we're a little bit late getting the assembly, so hopefully I'll be able to get this up for 9 o'clock for you. So this story is called The Hare's Revenge. Hare was fuming. He knew it was his own fault that Tortoise had won the race. And as I said, this is a follow-on from those of you who know the Hare and the Tortoise story. If he hadn't fallen asleep, he would have crossed the finish line well before the plodding Tortoise. You were lucky, he said ungracefully when he met Tortoise a few days later. If we were to race again, you wouldn't stand a chance. I could beat you easily. I think you're wrong, replied Tortoise, nodding his head up and down slowly. I think the result would be exactly the same. This was what Hare wanted to hear. Oh, a challenge then, he said. We'll race after breakfast tomorrow morning. Agreed? Agreed, said Tortoise, and he trundled away, Hare sniggering at how slowly he moved. The following morning, the two creatures met bright and early in the lane at the farmer's gate. Hare had brought his friend Ferret to start the race. It was cold, a cold, clear morning, and Hare was shivering as he waited for the race to begin. Are you ready? He asked impatiently. Tortoise seemed to take an age even to reach the starting line. Straight along the lane, around the bend, and finish at the bridge. Agreed? Agreed, said Tortoise, yawning. It was a little early for him to be up and about. And no cheating, added Hare, who had every intention of cheating himself. On your marks, said Ferret, holding one paw up in the air. Get set. Go! Hare shot off down the lane, bounding over the bumps and ditches, his powerful legs propelling him faster and faster. Tortoise yawned again and plodded forward, slowly but steadily. As soon as Hare was round the first bend, he stopped and glanced backwards. Good, he was out of sight. He had worked out a shortcut across the field, and he left the road and squeezed under the farmer's fence. However, it was tighter than he thought, and he caught his coat on a barb of wire. Hare squealed with pain as he pulled himself free. He turned to see a clump of fur stuck on the barb, and he licked the bald patch on his back before continuing across the farmer's field. He hadn't gone far when he came down to a muddy ditch. It seemed wider than usual, and the mud was soft and thick and brown. It won't be a problem, thought Hare. I can easily jump the ditch and be on my way. He took a few steps back and bounded towards the ditch. Hare leapt into the air and his eyes widened in fright as he realised he was not going to make it. There was a flopping, squelching sound as Hare landed in the soft, sticky mud and sank immediately up to his ears. Struggling free, Hare hauled himself out of the mud and sank in exhaustion onto a nearby grassy bank. He was covered in brown goo. He looked like a chocolate Easter bunny. Meanwhile, Tortoise had reached a bend in the road. He plodded on, whistling to himself and enjoying the warm morning sunshine. 5 minutes later, the mud hardened on his coat. Hare reached the stream. It seemed to be flowing faster than usual, and Hare looked at it in trepidation. I'll never jump across in one go, he thought. It's far too wide. And then he had a brainwave. If he waded across the stream, the cool, clear water would wash off all the horrible mud. Yes, he could have a quick bath and then go on to win the race. Hare took a few tentative steps into the water. It felt good. The stream lapped over his feet and washed off the sticky brown mess. He moved a little further towards the middle, where the water was deeper and faster flowing. It was then that disaster struck. Hare slipped on a smooth stone, and before he realized what was happening, he was being swept downstream by the fast flowing water. Hare flapped his arms and legs, but it was no good. The stream was too powerful, and he was carried along, gasping and coughing and spluttering. Meanwhile, Tortoise could see the bridge, and he was surprised that Hare was not already waiting for him. Eventually, Hare dragged himself out of the stream and flopped down onto the grassy bank. All the mud had been washed off, but he looked more like a drowned rat than a springed hare. Wet and bedraggled, he made his way back to the lane. Ah, there was the bridge, not too far in the distance. But wait, who was edging towards the finishing line? It couldn't be. It surely couldn't. Summoning his last dregs of energy, Hare stumbled up the lane towards the stone bridge. Tortoise crossed the finishing line and turned to wait for the sorry animal. Oh dear, he said, nodding his head slowly up and down, as Hare collapsed in a heap at his feet. You look worse for wear. Maybe we should make this the very last race between the tortoise and the hare. So the follow-up to the original Tortoise and the Hare in the second race. Hare lost again. And why did he lose? Well, he tried to take lots of shortcuts. He tried to cheat the system, try and cheat Tortoise. He didn't want to do things the right way. So we have to look at that for life. Do we do things properly? Take our time. Make sure everything is done to the way it should be. Or do we try and cheat? Do we try and take shortcuts and end up like Hare? Well, you know, and I do, that doing things the right way, not taking shortcuts, making sure that we do everything properly is the most important thing in our lives. So I hope you enjoyed that story. I hadn't heard that one before. A follow-up to the Hare and the Tortoise. So twice now, Hare has lost in the big race, and I wonder if he will ever learn his lesson. I hope he will, but I somehow have my doubts. So, as you know, another day assembly is passed and you're still in the house. However, hopefully we'll see you soon. And very, very special wishes and regards from me to all of you and from all of your teachers as well. But to finish, as we always do, we will finish with our school prayer, and we put our hands together and eyes closed, or we pray whichever way we wish, but we say it together. This is our school. Let peace dwell here. Let the rooms be full of contentment. Let love abide here. Love for one another and love for life itself. Let our school be a lovely place where all of us are caring to each other, to work our best and show our smiling face, staff and children helping one another today and always. Have a lovely day, and I shall see you tomorrow. As we always say, over and out.